We have already looked at many nouns from the first and second declensions. An example of a first declension noun is regina, reginae. Second declension had a few different patterns, but can be represented by the following nouns: amicus, amici, puer, pueri, ager, agri, templum, templi. These were all relatively easy, but now we get to the dreaded third declension. The third declension is a very large group. It includes masculine, feminine, and neuter nouns, divided into two groups: imparisyllabic and parasyllabic. This is an important concept that we will need to tackle. The first thing we must mention is that, unfortunately, all these nouns do not have a common ending for nominative singular. However, they can all be recognized easily as third declension nouns by the genitive singular ending, which will always be is. For this reason, particular attention must be paid to the dictionary, which always gives you both nominative and genitive forms. Another inconvenience is that it will be very difficult to guess the gender of these nouns, given the varied appearance of the nominative case, and for this reason, gender must be memorized when learning the meanings of these words. For example, miles, militis, meaning soldier, is masculine. Arbor, arboris, meaning tree, is feminine, while caput, capitis, meaning head, is neuter. As we have mentioned before, the gender of nouns in Latin has very little to do with the meaning. It's a purely grammatical quality. To further complicate things, for some nouns, the nominative singular will resemble the nominative form from other declensions, and only a closer look at the genitive case will show the true declension where the noun really belongs. For example, corpus, corporis, meaning body, is a neuter word from the third declension and not a masculine noun from the second declension as one might initially expect. It will be very important to keep this in mind when translating. The best practice with nouns of the third declension is to memorize genders right away or double-check them in the dictionary, but we can try to make this simpler by dividing them into gender groups according to a few tricks. It's not magic, but perhaps something that might help a little bit. Nouns ending in us, al, ar, e are usually neuter. Nouns ending in or, tor are usually masculine. Nouns ending in tas, tus, tudo, tio are usually feminine. In any case, the best thing you can do is to memorize the genitive case together with the nominative, because it is the genitive which carries the root for all the other cases. Now, as we mentioned before, all third declension nouns fall into two categories: imparisyllabic and parasyllabic. What do these terms mean? Well, if we count the syllables in the nominative case and then the syllables in the genitive might show the same number of syllables as the nominative, or it may not. Let's start with the larger group, which happens to be the imparisyllabic nouns. This will refer to the situation where the number of syllables differ between the nominative and genitive forms. For example, we may go from one syllable to two. Rex, regis. But we could also go from 2 to 3. Sermo, sermonis. Or from 3 to 4. Civitas, civitatis. Or even from 4 to 5. Multitudo, multitudinis. Let's check out one example for each gender. Masculine, soldier. Miles, militis, militi, militem, milite, milites, militum, militibus, milites, militibus. Feminine, root. Radix, radicis, radici, radicem, radice. Radices, radicum, radicibus, radices, radicibus. Neuter, river. Flumen, fluminis, flumini, flumen, flumine. Flumina, fluminum, fluminibus, flumina, fluminibus. With a little exposure achieved, let's mention a few general things. First and most important, as we mentioned earlier, the third declension has no fixed ending for the nominative singular. Until you have them memorized, you must check the dictionary for every word. Those unpredictable nominatives and genitives come from the modification of the stem, which can happen in different ways. Sometimes a C or a G combined with S results in an X, as in rex, regis, meaning king. Other times, the final consonant is omitted, as in leo, leonis, meaning lion. In others, the stem vowel changes, as in princeps, principis, meaning chief. One important general rule says that imparasyllabic nouns have their genitive plural ending in However, as we might guess, there are exceptions. Next, the stem of the noun seen in the genitive case will be carried over in all the other cases in front of the ending. And finally, the nominative plural and accusative plural are the same for all genders. For the neuter plural, this ending will be a, resembling the second declension. Masculine, reges, reges. Feminine, mulieres, mulieres. Neuter, flumina, flumina. Furthermore, for the neuter, nominative and accusative will be the same even in the singular. Flumen, flumen. This will require some extra attention in translation because sometimes their meaning in a sentence could become ambiguous. For example, milites reges monent. This could mean the soldiers warn the kings, but it could also mean the kings warn the soldiers. Context will usually tell us which is the case. In more ambiguous cases, normally the word that starts the sentence will be the subject. And one more bit, the dative and ablative plural will be the same for all nouns, just like the first and second declensions. Now it's time to learn as many imparisyllabic nouns of the third declension as we can, so let's list a few with their meanings, noting the difference in syllable count for the two given forms. Civitas, civitatis. Homo, hominis. Corpus, corporis. Labor, laboris. Virtus, virtutis. Rex, regis. Rumor, rumoris. Pax, pacis. Flumen, fluminis. Tellus, telluris. Cor, cortis. Amor, amoris. Genus, generis. Consul, consulis. Tempus, temporis. Mulier, mulieris. Sidus, sideris. Uxor, uxoris. Scriptor, scriptoris. Natio, nationis. Leo, leonis. Orator, oratoris. Lex, legis. Scelus, sceleris. Pastor, pastoris. Foedus, foederis. Nemus, nemoris. Nomen, nominis. Lapis, lapidis. Arbor, arboris. Now let's practice these nouns with some adjectives. You will notice that hoping for matching or rhyming endings will now be pointless because the following first-class adjectives must still follow first and second declension rules, so we must be careful. Let's look at some examples with masculine and feminine nouns. Rex bonus. Arbor alta. Pax aeterna. Miles strenuus. Homo piger. Natio magna. Nox longa. Iudex aequus. Multitudo valida. Rumor parvus. Servitus dura. Scriptor bonus. Lex severa. Soror timida. Now let's look at some neuter nouns. No rhyming here either. Nemus densum, caput magnum, flumen rapidum, nomen clarum, corpus validum, cor bonum, carmen pulchrum. Finally, to wrap things up, let's see how some of these words have been used by the classic authors themselves, Horace and Cicero. Nihil sine magno labore, vita mortalibus dat. Carmina nova de adolescentia virginibus puerisque canto. Populus stultus viris indignis honores saepe dat. Nomina stultorum in parietibus et portis saepe videmus. With the basics regarding imparisyllabic third declension nouns understood, let's check comprehension.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more tutorials. Support me on Patreon so I can keep making content. And as always, feel free to email me, ProfessorDaveExplains@gmail.com.